Welcome back to the OK Not OK podcast. I am Dr. O'Kay, and it is time for another OK question of the week. And I think there's only one possible thing that the Sports Zoo could ask this week, so, well, let's get to it. Well, Doc, I would love to ask you about Ricky this week, but I guess Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are teaming up, so I better ask you this. Why would those two do that? You know what, Sports Zoo? I'd like to talk about Ricky too, and that was a really tough stunner that he took, so I'd like to see him bring some midnight heat to Kevin Owens and see if he can get some revenge for that. Anyways, yeah, you're right, we have to talk about Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes teaming up. But before we do, I want to first take a moment and say, wow, Solo Sikoa is such a mastermind. Can you believe how smart this guy is? He must have learned something from Paul Heyman from all that time, because he does not need a wise man anymore. Wow, Solo, great job, man. Just when you think you're out of the title picture, there you are getting yourself back into a match against Cody Rhodes. So we know from Money in the Bank that if you just pin the champion in a random old tag match, well, you're gonna get another title shot at the next Premium Live event. So let's see if he can make it SummerSlam Part 2, but come ahead this time at maybe Crown Jewel or Survivor Series. We'll just have to wait and see. But good job, Solo, for that. And on top of it, he gets to keep Reigns in his line of vision now. Instead of Reigns just interfering in his matches and otherwise just coming up and beating up the Bloodline without his knowledge, now he gets to look him right in the face, and he knows that he can be the better man and just take him out once and for all, for good, beat him inside the ring so Reigns can just whimper away like the little doggy that he is. But of course your question was not about Solo Sikoa, so we'll see if he can indeed beat those two at the next PLE. But for now, let's talk about Cody Rhodes and why would he do this? Well, you know, for me, I guess it's just that Cody Rhodes is a good fighting champion, but he's made some really strange decisions along the way since he became the champion. And yes, let's first say that he has been a great fighting champion. He is 12-1. He has 6 title defenses already. This is far away better than what the previous guy ever did. So great job, Cody. Keep this up. We want to see you continue to make this WWE Championship the prestigious championship that it is, instead of when Roman Reigns ground it into the dirt. So yes, great job, Cody. You are a great fighting champion, but that's not the question either. Instead, you're just continuing your series of strange decisions. I chronicled your strange decisions back a few months ago before you faced Solo Sikoa for the championship. But I guess I want to just briefly rehash a couple of those things. Number one, you flew way off the handle for AJ Styles. It didn't make any sense that you were so willing to give AJ whatever match he wanted just for doing one little sneak attack on you. That was a really bad decision. You should have just let him retire. Also, you put hands on many security guards and had to get escorted out by the police because you were so off the handle, along with your beat-up buddies Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Just not acceptable for a true WWE champion. At King and Queen of the Ring, you faced Logan Paul, but instead of just letting the ref count out Paul after he had already used brass knuckles on you, you still wanted to keep going and have to earn the win with a pin? Just take the win and get out of there, man. You were hurting. You should have just taken the win. And I guess you just did that again in this steel cage match, inexplicably. It's not like you hadn't already tried to escape the cage several times, but at this exact moment, for some reason, you decided that instead of going over that cage and hitting the floor, you were going to try a crossbody off of the top of the cage onto Sikoa, which you promptly followed up by trying to crawl out of the door. So you were still willing to escape right after that. I mean, man, what is that? What is that? That was really dumb. You're lucky to have won that one, man. But I guess that's your answer there for Cody Rhodes, Sports Zoo. He is just way too emotional when it comes to his decision making. All he had to do was stick to his guns for one night, telling Aldis that he was done with the Bloodline, and Aldis would have just booked a different match for him for the next championship match. But no. You had to go out there, you had to interrupt Roman Reigns when you could have just let that stupid idiot talk for a few moments for the first time, putting himself 6 feet under the ground like he always does when he opens his mouth. But instead, no, you had to kind of go out there and try to defend the championship for some reason when you didn't need to. You didn't need to. You could have just waited, got your match scheduled for the next PLE, and been good to go. But no, you put yourself right back in the line of fire with the Bloodline when you went out there to confront Reigns. So of course, Solo Sikoa was going to take advantage of the situation and come out there again and have Tonga and Loa attack you. Ah, Cody. We wish you were smarter at this, but at least you are so good at wrestling that you can overcome just about everything. So props to you for that, but man, just let it go and you would have been set to face anybody else. Okay, let's finally get back to Roman Reigns. Now, as we just chronicled, this is one weird dude. He somehow thinks he owns this ring and owns the WWE despite not showing up for 4 or 5 months at a time. What kind of person does that? Oh, I guess one that thinks he is a god, since one of his t-shirts has G-O-D on it, greatness on a different level. And by greatness on a different level, I guess that means the level that's below everybody else. But I digress. Roman Reigns is simply not a smart man because Paul Heyman was the only one that could do anything right to make the right decisions on behalf of Reigns. So I guess he has a couple brain cells to be smart enough to have Heyman in his corner, but he even fired him once there too, so that wasn't so smart either. But nonetheless, in addition to not being smart, we know that he is not caring, not kind, not compassionate, because his idea of family is fighting with them to get them to bend the knee, and obviously that is not the best way to go about things, so you were obviously a terrible person to even your closest family members. But while you're neither of those things, at least we can say you're the luckiest man on the planet, because during your matches, you somehow always seem to have someone run into the ref unintentionally to knock him out just when you're about to lose a match, or on top of that, one of the family members that hates you somehow decides to come back into the fold at the most inopportune time, and they take out your opponent, and so you're able to easily defeat them in the end, even though you did nothing to deserve that. So that sounds like the typical Roman Reigns that we know. So in conclusion, I guess what we will say is that you are not smart, you are not caring, you are lucky, and you're not even a good wrestler because 11 straight matches you needed help from somebody else in order to maintain the championship. And even then, on the biggest stage of them all, when you had the entire Bloodline ready to help you coming out from who knows where at WrestleMania, you still could not get the job done. So yeah, you're just not good at this. I guess is really what it comes down to. Really sad. So after putting all of that together yet again, I guess the answer to your question, Sports Zoo, is that, well, I guess Reigns at least has minimal brain capacity to know when he needs some help. And this time he needs some help. And if it comes from maybe his biggest rival of them all, well, it still helped that he doesn't have otherwise because, well, he has now alienated most of the rest of his family through his failure and absence. So he took the food off of their table by not showing up for all this time and losing the championship. And maybe he's also smart enough to know that he is simply a weak person. He is truly a fraudster, a true snake oil salesman, because he at least knows this, he cannot win on his own. So if he has no one else in his corner, he's simply not gonna win anything. So again, he's gotta turn to Cody Rhodes and say, if I want that Ula Fala back, I'm gonna need Cody Rhodes' help here to win against Solo. And maybe if I help Cody enough, he seems to give championship matches to his friends. So maybe I can be a friend for a little while, and maybe he'll give me a title match just like he did with Kevin Owens. So, okay, he rubbed a couple brain cells together and got something out of it for himself. So, yeah, I guess maybe Cody Rhodes can carry this match for him and maybe, just maybe, get him a win. I don't know. Roman Reigns will probably blow it anyways without any help. But, hey, maybe he'll knock the referee down unintentionally again and it'll work out for him. Who knows? But nonetheless, Roman Reigns, I guess I've got to give you credit. You have a couple brain cells that were able to rub it together that you need Cody Rhodes' help to win anything. So there you have it, Sports Zoo. That's it. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, we're going to get it at Bad Blood. Solo Sikoa will look like the biggest genius in the world because he knows that those two cannot keep it together. Well, we'll just have to wait to see if they can keep it together. But until then, I'm Dr. O'Kay, and this has been the OK, Not OK podcast.